What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So if you're on this channel, you know that I like to help people make informed decisions when it comes to their real estate transactions. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. We're going to be talking about the rental market and how, whether you are a landlord or a tenant, you can save a ton of stress and money. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Now, all I ask in return is that if you're liking this content, you're getting any value from it, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure you like the video, leave me a comment what you think about the rental market and my strategies here. And then obviously, if anybody needs to get in touch with me, I've left my contact information down in the description below. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Now, I don't do a ton of content around the rental market. I just find that it's just not as interesting, obviously, as the big numbers with the sales and stuff. But whether you are a landlord or a tenant, these are numbers that you're going to want to pay attention to. And rental prices have been making a lot of headlines in the news. This CBC article is talking about how rents have dropped 9% in the downtown core over the last year. And flipping over to rentals.ca, which is a really good tool for anybody who's looking for information on the rental market. You can see here, Toronto, the average price there is $26.32. But real important is right here where it says 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom year over year change. You can see that prices have dropped 6 to 7% for the 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom units in the downtown core. A 6 to 7% decrease on $2,600 is about $200 a month difference. And depending on when you got into your lease, whether you got into it in the peak of summer a couple of years ago or what, you could be paying, $200 to $300 more than what a similar unit is going for in your current building. And I'm noticing that a lot of conversations are happening between tenants and landlords and people making moves that they may not need to necessarily make because they're noticing that their unit on a different floor in their same building is going for less. So they're just going there to save a few $100s a month. And hey, rightfully so, especially right now, given the current climate with the economy and inflation, $200 to $300 is worth moving for in a lot of cases. Now, my goal is to save you the $200 to $300 a month without having to move in the first place, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. Now, first of all, why are rents actually coming down? Flipping over to this Urban Nation article here, it says condo rents have experienced downward pressure due to a record high number of new condo deliveries. The number of condos that were registered so far this year, and this article came out at the end of 2024, was 23,473 units, a 132% increase over the same period last year, which was 10,000 units. So we're seeing a ton of new condos coming to the market, being completed, coming on the market as rental inventory. Not to mention, we're also seeing record number of purpose-built rentals simultaneously coming to the market. And this is a good thing, right? Housing affordability is a big issue in Toronto. More supply is going to bring down the rental amounts. I mean, the only thing that I would really say there is that the units that are coming to the market are not necessarily the units that, a lot of people want. I feel like we've got a lot of 1 and 2 bedroom condos on the market right now. And a lot of people are really gravitating towards, those 3 bedroom homes, whether it's a semi-detached home, a townhouse, something with a little bit more space. And actually flipping back to the rentals.ca article, you can see here that the 3 bedroom condos only dropped 3% in comparison to the 6 and 7%. And that is because people are looking for more space and there is an abundance of small studio 1 bedrooms, 2 bedroom condos on the market right now. So, okay, that's fine. The rental market has come down a little bit and we all understand that. That's fine. And I also do want to start off by saying that I am in no way, shape or form in favor of either side. I mean, maybe I would say that I'm in favor of the landlord side more often than I am the tenant side because I do have some rental properties. But I also understand that the market goes up sometimes where the landlords have all the leverage, and sometimes it goes down where the tenants have all the leverage. And right now, the tenants have the leverage, especially when it comes to the condos. Like I said, the freehold side of things, the rentals are still moving pretty good, and they're actually kind of hard to come by. For the condos, tenants definitely have a little bit more leverage. And I am noticing that some tenants have reached out to me saying, hey, I want to look at these properties because they're going for cheaper than what I'm currently paying. And I tell them, like, hey, have you considered renegotiating the lease with your landlord? And likewise, this was actually the inspiration behind this video, is that I had a landlord client reach out to me saying that their tenant just gave them 60 days notice and they're moving out. And they were like, we should get this, property ready to put back on the market. How much is it renting for? And I was like, whoa, like reach out to your tenant immediately and find out why they're leaving. Because if they're just leaving because, they've had a lifestyle change and they need to leave, okay, fine. But if they're leaving because rent is cheaper, in the same building and they're moving to a different unit or they're moving just down the street, why not renegotiate the lease with them at a lower rate? Because if it gets vacant, you're going to have to match market rates anyways. You're going to have to lower your rent. Plus, you might potentially be vacant for a month. Plus, you've got to pay the realtors, the 1 month plus HST to put it on the market, and then find a potential tenant, go through the screening process, handle deposits, all these unnecessary stress, where if they're leaving just because of the price, I would sooner have you reach out and negotiate directly and just come up with a fair price. And then that way everybody gets to stay and everybody's happy with as little stress as possible and less money out of both the landlord and the tenant's pockets. And a little bit later on, I'm actually going to show you exactly how you can find out how much your condo should be rented out for without having to reach out to any real estate agents, me, anything. I'm going to give you a free tool that will show you exactly how to do that. Before I tell you exactly how to find out how much your condo should be rented out for, I'm going to start with the tenants. So let's say you're a tenant, you look up your property and you see that a similar unit in your building or down the street is going for, $300 less. And you're like, you know what? I'm actually thinking about moving so I can save the $300 a month. Now, before you actually call up the real estate agent, book a showing, and go through this whole process, gather your documents, I would go collect some screenshots of the comparables that I'm going to show you how to get. And I would send them over to your landlord politely, of course, and be like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Landlord, I noticed that other units that are similar to mine are renting for substantially less. I'm considering making a move to save myself the money. I was just wondering, before I start going through the process of looking for a new place, would you be open to renegotiating at a lower price? Now, I know that might be a tough conversation to have, but I'm going to tell you right now that I would hope that my tenant has that conversation with me now before they just up and leave, sign a lease, and then now I have to deal with, a vacant unit. I've got to drop the rents anyways and go through a vacancy, which would just be a hassle. Plus, the tenant also has to pay moving costs, deposits, all this unnecessary stress, where had you just had a conversation and both come to terms, potentially would have saved both the landlord and the tenant a bunch of money. Now, on the flip side, if I was a landlord, would I preemptively reach out to my tenant and lower their rent? I mean, probably not, if I'm being honest. But if they were paying substantially more and I knew they were paying, $500-600 more than they could pay somewhere else, I might. But I would reach out, especially if you know that they're paying maybe $200 or $300 more than they could elsewhere for a similar unit in the building. I would reach out and just keep an open line of communication. Ask them how they're doing, make sure that they're happy with everything, and just be a good landlord. Hopefully this would help in the fact that if they do consider making a move for a lower price, that they would have an open line of communication and that you can discuss that before they just sign another lease and leave and cause everybody a bunch of headache. Look, sometimes the market goes up and, the landlords have all the leverage and, all the tenants are mad because these landlords are picky. They want all these documents and all this stuff. And then look at sometimes the shoe's on the other foot where the market goes down and now the tenants are the ones with the leverage. Now, again, I want to emphasize this so that this information is not abused just to go out there and try to save yourself $50 or $100 a month. Because if we flip to the bottom of the Urban Nation article, it does say that the latest quarter provided is a good lesson that large increases in supply can bring down rents. However, this should be viewed as a temporary adjustment as completions for both condos and rentals, purpose-built rentals, will begin to fall dramatically in the coming years given the latest trends of construction starts. So basically, they have stopped building. So all these new units that are coming to the market right now are from the construction starts 2, 3, 4 years ago. Well, those construction starts have stopped. So once these are all done, they're pretty much done. There's not going to be a whole lot of new supply coming to the market. And once all the rental supply gets swallowed up, there's a good chance that rents could go back up. So tread lightly. If you're going to make a big deal out of a small amount, there's a good chance that your landlord might do the same when the shoe is on the other foot. If you are in a position where you're thinking of seriously considering moving, I would have that conversation with your landlord before you actually make that move, because there's a very good chance that they may be open to renegotiating and you may not have to move altogether and you can save the money. Now for the fun part. I told you that I would tell you how to find out exactly how much your condo should be rented for. So we're going to have to find comparable properties. Now, when you're finding comparable properties, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be subjective. Okay. Let's say you're renting a 1-bedroom in, 560 Front Street. We'll use that for an example. You have to look at other comparables in 560 Front Street with 1-bedroom, not one in Dens, not 2 bedrooms, not 2 bedrooms with parking, and try to, figure out what the difference would be. You got to go apples to apples. Really just be honest. Find a few comparables. One doesn't mean that that's what that should be. It could be a one-off. Try to find 3 or 4 that support, your case for how much the condo should go for. And I said I would give you a free tool. So if you go down in the description below, you'll find the link to Listed, which I think is the best tool out there for running comparables, searching properties. I use it. All my clients use it. They all love it. I'm going to give you a free link down in the description below. So once you download it, you can see there, if you're actually sitting in your condo building, you're in luck. You can just hit the My Location at the top, and then it'll literally zoom in on your location and you don't even have to do anything. It'll just show you everything. Or for this case, like I said, I'm going to use 560 Front Street as a example because I literally just listed a condo for lease in that building today, and which is available, by the way. Maybe I'll put the link for that down below as well. So then go to filters in the top left corner. You're going to see like the map will zoom in on the location you just put in. Go to filters in the top left corner. You can see here status. You see available and sold. So make sure that those are both clicked, okay? Because we want to see what's currently available and what has leased, okay? Transaction type, you want to make sure that it's toggled on for lease so that the lease is purple. And then property type, in this case, we're talking about condos primarily. The houses are still, renting for very, good prices, and they haven't seen as much movement as the condo market. So make sure you toggle condo if we're looking for condos. If you're looking for houses, you can look for houses. And then you're going to keep scrolling here. For days back, I would put 180 days. That gives you the last 6 months. Tighten that up and kind of expand that as you so feel like you should. And then for bedrooms, like I said, we want to compare apples to apples. So in this case, I'm going to go 1-bedroom and make sure that it's to a max of 1 bedroom. So then that way I only see the 1-bedroom units, and that should be enough to get me started. So I zoomed in on 560 Front Street. I'm going to zoom in even more just so I cut out the adjacent buildings here. And then you can see I'm pretty much right in on 560 Front Street. You can even actually go to this little pen if you want, and you can draw a circle around the whole building. That way you don't get any neighboring properties. And then you can go to the list view. And you can see all the units that have rented that are similar to yours. You can flip through the photos. You can see, obviously, if they're tagged in the red with the lease, that means that they have been leased. And then it should say, on the right there, it says 154 days ago, 161 days ago. You're going to want to find the most current ones. Those are going to be the most relevant ones. And then, you can also see the ones that don't have it, like this one right here that I actually just listed today. That is available for anybody who maybe is paying a little too much rent and is looking for a new home. This one, 2150, but you can see here and you can flip through and just take a look at all the photos and see what is available. And then from these are where you could kind of take some screenshots and show your, landlord potentially if there's a $300, $400 gap there, be like, hey, like this is what they're going for. I'm actually thinking about potentially moving into this unit, just save myself some money. Is there any way we could do something about the rent to have me stay? So like I said, the Listed app is my gift to you for being a loyal subscriber. Feel free to use it as you will. And hopefully, you can use that to hopefully save yourself a little bit of money. I actually genuinely hope that this stops some people from making unnecessary moves. And I hope it helps, let landlords know that, maybe I got to be a little bit more flexible in this situation so that I keep my tenant and not have a vacant unit for a month and go through everything that, it takes to get it rented out again. So I hope people got some genuine value out of this. I'm curious to hear in the comment section below your findings with the app. Did you find out that you're paying, too little, too much? Really curious to hear your thoughts. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.